Welcome. It's story time today, and I wanted to tell a quick story with my blank background, which is super sad. But I want to tell a story that is always near and dear to my heart, and the story is about the very first field problem I ever had in the military. So when I first got here, we worked on the M109, I think Alpha 6 Paladin howitzers, which is just basically like a big tank. But fellow artillery people don't want you to call them big tanks, but that's what they are. So we're gonna go and we're going to go up for 2 weeks. So I just got to the unit. I think I just went home and picked up my family. At the time, it was Specialist Gauger, now Sergeant Gauger. He was the ammo team chief, and I was the driver of the CAT. The CAT is a carrier, comma, ammunition tracked. I'm pretty sure is what it stands for. No one else was in this, was with us because everyone else worked in the actual Paladin. So our very first field problem, we were driving out, we had no communication with each other. So I'm driving, I can't hear anybody. Gauger is up top, he cannot hear anybody as well, and he also cannot talk to me. So at some point we get caught up behind a different convoy and we're traveling with them, but we're all together, and eventually they break off and they hit a left turn. But we don't know any different because we can't talk to anybody else, and we also can't talk to each other. So we are on this dirt road, and the dirt has kicked up so much that we can't see anything that's going on. So there is like ground guides kind of guiding us to through the right way, and there's a couple of people traveling behind us in a Humvee. Well, we see these guys turn, which are not our battery, not our platoon, not even our brigade, and they turn onto whatever road they turn on, and we think that's our road because we can't see in front of us because the dirt has kicked up so bad that we can't even see like 10 feet in front of us. All we see is this vehicle in front of us turn. So I just make the turn. So I whip it, so all of a sudden, Sergeant Octave like jumps out of the Humvee. Hey, 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 you're going the wrong way. So we have to whip it back around and we keep trucking. A lot of the vehicles for this field problem were deadlined, and that means that they couldn't go out with us. So each section has like between like 6 and like 8 to 9 people. So normally in a Paladin unit, you would have a Paladin, the tank, and then you would have the ammo carrier, the CAT. It ended up that we were the only section out there with a CAT. So we had a lot of people trying to come and live in our CAT with us. So when it came down to bedding down, we had Sergeant Ely come back from, he was the gunner, and he would come sleep in. And then we had a dude named Jones, who also was staying with us, who was in a different platoon altogether. So he brought a cooler because he was going out to the beach, and it had like fresh lunch meat, it had bread, it had condiments. He came out here like he was going to live in his entire life in our CAT. So one of the first days that we're sleeping out there, we find that he's leaving his drawers out. What kind of seals the deal and it gets Jones kicked out is that then his cooler, after about 3 days, all the ice is melted in it, and the cooler is leaking water all over. So now we're tracking the mud in. Now we're just sitting in a murky, muddy mess in our CAT that we're trying to keep clean. When Jones gets kicked out, I move from the driver's hatch back into the actual body of the CAT. There's like there's two, it's hard to describe, but there's 2 little ledges on either side that you can sleep on if you're small enough. Ely and you have Gauger sleeping up here, and then I had a little cot, like a makeshift cot, like right on the bottom, so now we're sleeping good. One of the best parts about being in the field is that you don't do the silly nonsense that you do when you're back at your garrison life. So you're kind of on your own, and you do real-time training, and you just basically have a good time with your friends. And that's what we're doing. But what makes this way better is that nobody has a CAT but us. So some people towed their CATs out just to leave them laying there, but no one used them. So when it came for our gun to go out and actually shoot live, they didn't take the CAT. So our section goes out the night before, and they're gonna sleep out at the firing point so they can just wake up and do their certifications and then come back. But since nobody has a CAT, or nobody has a functioning CAT, they don't take us with them. And then they kind of just forget about us. And we take advantage of that. We go to bed that night knowing that if we stay quiet enough and we stay still enough, no one will know we're there. So we wake up and it is freezing outside. The cat is like a refrigerator and the walls have frost on them. That's how cold it is outside. And we know that it's nicer outside than it is in the cat. Because like I said, the cat's like a refrigerator. It is keeping us cold, but we can't open the doors. Because if we open the doors, then we will be exposed. And then we hear. And then we hear some yelling. And then we hear some screaming. And then we hear some cadences being called. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 3. And what's going on directly next to us, Sergeant Boatwright's section had slept in a little too late. And they're out there getting smoked by Gunny Boatwright. So Gunny Boatwright's out there giving him the business. You hear him going front to back, flutter kicks. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2. And I'm like, bro, I have to pee so bad, but I cannot get out because I am not doing flutter kicks with whoever in the hell is next to us. So we have to lay here and pretend that we don't exist until our section gets back, because there's no way I'm gonna be out there like those guys doing flutter kicks. So we stay inside and then we start peeing into our Gatorade bottles, our water bottles, anything we can pee in, we pee into them. Until this day right now, no one has ever known that Gager and I were tucked away into this cat. We waited out all day long until our gun gets back, and then we just pop out like we were with the gun the whole time. So in the Paladins and in the cats, they have like a little drain, like right under the driver's seat. So we just dump our pee under the cat, so no one was the wiser. But we became very comfortable with doing this. So that night, I lay my PT mat down and I lay on it. And at some point during the night, I had moved around enough that my PT mat had fell on the ground. So now I was sitting at the foot of my bed. And Gager gets up and he decides he has to pee. But we're peeing in bottles now. That's our life now, is we're gonna pee in the bottles. So he gets down and it is as dark as can be. I can't even stress to you how dark it is inside of this vehicle. And he gets down and unbeknownst to him, he is standing on my PT mat. And unbeknownst to his body and his anatomy, he has to pee a lot. So what happens is, he starts peeing in the bottle and everything's going great. I bet it feels wonderful. Then he fills up the bottle faster than expected. And then he starts peeing all over my PT mat. Pees all over it. Hey, so that's it for story time. That is one of my favorite stories about being in the field, even though my PT mat got peed on. So there's some links that you should follow that will bring you to the Aaron Orion YouTube page and the Aaron Orion Facebook page and the Death Threat Army Facebook page, because I'm getting so close to coming home. We already got tons of dates and tons of companies that we are working with to bring the Death Threat Army to you. Boom. So till next time, guys, you guys take it easy, and that's it.